So as I was saying earlier today, I am back, and this is a bird story. This is the half-sequel to the Moon that happens between the events of John Wiles' life and the situations that happen in Colin's life. This story is told in an interesting way, and I'm not even going to kind of spoil how it's interesting. You should see pretty quick how the storytelling functions. It's not necessary to have seen either this or Finding Paradise first. Both are standalone stories. They inform each other, but seeing them out of order or in order according to the list will still get across the points of what happens. So I will start here in just a moment. I don't know when I will get to the completely unrelated Freebird games. I do have them all. I have not installed all of them, and there are two that I have not played yet. We'll get to those when I get to them. But this is the in-between that is informing Finding Paradise and worked as the midway sequel until Finding Paradise was released on the 14th this year. As you can see here, Colin's on the screen. I think I might look at this differently now that I have seen Finding Paradise. So in a way, it's good that I didn't do it beforehand, because maybe I'll get something different from it this way. I'm not sure. It's possible. I don't know for sure, though. Can we get the camera to sit here? I have a feeling it's going to fall down. Oh, I forgot, yeah. This game has a lot more of a surreal control style to it. One second. So, now that we've gotten this far into it, I will say the interesting story mechanic involved with this is not traveling backwards. Although it is cool that it does that, it's not the interesting mechanic. I really do like this. As I've said before, I love surreal style things. The interesting storytelling mechanic to this is there is still a pretty significant and somewhat emotional story. However, not a single word of dialogue is uttered the entire time. You will see some similar set pieces. You already saw one, although you might have noticed something different about it that I also only noticed because of replaying this. One of my favorite set pieces from the previous / next game. See, I have a lot of sympathy with Colin. I have some commonalities with him pretty heavily. I had some imaginary friends in a sense for a very long time. I mostly had internal monologuing I did to bounce my ideas off of myself, because for the majority of my youth I did not really have any particular friends I spent time with. I went to Cub Scouts and I had Shin and a couple of other friends when I got more friends by the time I got into junior high school. But especially during my young childhood age, I spent the vast majority of my days alone. Shin could only come over every so often because he lived far enough away that he wasn't over very much. And as a consequence, we didn't hang out a whole lot. So I spent probably 4/5, maybe even more, of my life on my own. And so the kind of lingering loneliness and developing a friend that is in your head. Please don't watch this out of order, guys. I can sympathize with that in a way. So, but yeah, I sympathize with him in that way. I understand the loneliness and the needing someone to talk to kind of thing. It's caused me arguments a lot in my later life because I do not do well when I'm alone for long periods of time or when I'm only around just my family. And it's not that I don't love my family. I absolutely love my family. It's just the idea of, you know, your family has a biological compulsion to have to be around you. It's different when someone actively 100% chooses to be around you. I guess is kind of how it comes down to in a, like, very philosophical way. The idea of having actual friends to hang out with, though, is a very different thing. And since I'm just socially uncomfortable enough that I wouldn't be able to, like, feel okay... Jump on the bed. Inviting people over so often, I'm shy in that way, I suppose. But okay. I don't really have people come over that often. Most of the time when I spent time with someone as a kid, it was actually my cousin who's been here on a couple occasions. There we go, now you're jumping on the bed. But the ennui that you get from spending a lot of time alone, I understand that, I suppose. It's also, I guess this is another way that's good that I'm doing these out of order, which in and of itself is a different in order for the way of interpreting the story. I have something to talk about since there's no dialogue. I wouldn't want this to be purely silent, because I feel like the idea of it being purely silent makes for a particularly boring set of videos. So I guess having, you know, my own time to kind of say something is one way of interpreting it as a benefit of sorts.